So imagine walking into a stranger's living room and, I don't know, just ripping leaves off their houseplants.
Or dropping food wrappers all over the rug. You would never do it.
Right, you would never do that. But we actually do it in nature all the time.
We really do.
Yeah. So welcome to today's deep dive. We are looking at a really fascinating 3-part English learning series called The Zen of Low Impact Hiking.
And our goal today is to keep the pace nice and easy. So this is perfect for your commute or just a quick mental break.
Exactly. And we want to use accessible vocabulary for you because treating the forest like a living room, it isn't just about protecting the environment. It is actually a lesson in rewiring our mental health.
It completely shifts how we interact with the physical world. I mean, instead of dominating a space, the goal is to, adapt to it.
And the series introduces a hiker named David. He takes this adaptation very seriously.
Yeah, he avoids crowds and follows the core rule to leave no trace.
Leave no trace, which just means taking your trash home and, I guess, leaving the wildflowers exactly where they are.
Right, but it goes deeper than that.
Well, wait, I actually want to challenge one of his specific rules. He says he refuses to ever step off the dirt path. But isn't wilderness exploration about, getting off the beaten path?
I get that. Staying strictly on a marked line does feel a bit restrictive, but that restriction is exactly the point. It helps to look at the structural difference between a road and a trail.
Okay, break that down for us. What is the difference there?
So a road is engineered for dominance. It is wide, it's paved, and it gets cars from point A to point B.
While basically ignoring the environment entirely.
Exactly. But a trail, that is a concession to nature. A trail is just a narrow thread of a footprint that forces us to adapt to the landscape.
Oh, wow. Staying on that single line of dirt is what protects the fragile plant systems growing everywhere else.
Right. It's called sustainable hiking, meaning you do it in a way that doesn't cause long-term damage.
That changes the perspective entirely. You aren't just walking. You are deliberately containing your footprint. But once you are restricted to that narrow path, how does that physical limitation change your mental state?
Well, it forces you to slow down. David practices taking mindful steps.
Mindful steps, meaning he is really paying attention to the present moment.
Yes. He stops obsessing over rushing to the mountain peak just to say he conquered it. Instead, he anchors his attention to his physical breathing.
And the actual feel of the ground under his boots.
Exactly. He is prioritizing the journey.
There is this great moment in the text where David sees a stunning bluebird. And the modern reflex is to immediately, whip out a smartphone to capture it.
Right, to take a photo for social media. Yeah.
But he deliberately leaves his phone in his pocket. He chooses to just experience it. And that brings up an interesting distinction the series makes between the words notice and observe.
Yeah, they aren't just synonyms here. The difference is actually in how your brain processes the moment.
Like noticing is a quick realization?
Exactly. Noticing is quick, like seeing a flash of blue feathers when that bird flies by. But observing is prolonged and deliberate.
Oh, so observing is when David stops to carefully examine the texture of green moss growing on a rock.
Yes. When you shift from noticing to observing, you are forcing your nervous system to anchor to micro details.
And speaking of details, there is a practical vocabulary shift here too. In scientific literature, you constantly read about flora and fauna.
Right, the academic terms for plants and animals.
Yeah, but out there on the trail, it is just wildlife. It is about taking clinical concepts and experiencing them in real life.
Definitely. And that active observation is exactly how the stress response begins to shut down.
By stopping the hunt for the destination.
Right. By simply observing the wildlife, you lower your heart rate. You achieve what the author calls inner peace.
Which is the ultimate payoff. Hiking acts as a natural medicine for mental health. David explicitly mentions how this practice helps him relieve stress from a demanding job.
He leaves the woods feeling totally recharged and filled with gratitude.
It is a beautiful contrast. I mean, this style of Zen hiking is engineered to be entirely low impact on the earth.
But it has a massive high impact return on our happiness.
It's a perfect synthesis. By protecting the ecosystem through mindful action, we are simultaneously repairing our own psychological well-being.
Absolutely.
So we turn this over to you. How are you planning to relieve stress this week? We challenge you to take these ideas into your own life. Next time you are in a local park, try taking just a few mindful steps.
Keep the phone in your pocket. Notice the wind, observe the leaves, and just give yourself permission to truly recharge.
But before we sign off, here's a final thought to mull over. If the entire philosophy of Zen hiking is to leave no trace and, completely disconnect from the noise,
Does our modern habit of tracking our step counts and heart rates on our smartwatches actually prevent us from truly experiencing the moment?
Are we just bringing the stress of achievement right into the woods?
That is a fantastic question to walk away with.
It really is. Thanks for joining us for this peaceful stroll through the woods. Take a deep breath, and we will catch you on